Hello everybody! Words! What are words? Like, specifically, what makes one thing incredibly word-like and what makes one thing not at all word-like? That is what we are here to discover. From the time we are teeny tiny fledgling humans to the point in time at which we are fully grown and are supposed to be writing incredibly magnificent essays, we are told things like, you can't use that, that's not a real word. Please try and use your words to explain yourself, and all of these kinds of things. But really, when you get down to it, who gets to decide what is a real word and what isn't? And here's the thing. A lot of the things that people say aren't real words actually are real words. So you're just going to have to bear with me for a little while. I'm about to get slightly technical. By definition, a word is just a series of sounds called phonemes that convey some kind of meaning to another party. Generally, words have incredibly well-defined intentions. Sounds such as hop, skip, or jump all mean something that is quite clear. But then you get some noises, which are still considered words, mind you, that are understood by maybe less than 25% of the population. Words like hyperoperator, or heteronormativity, or hemoglobin. And the reason that all of these are words is because they have an agreed upon definition. Using this logic, however, if you can make a series of noises that can be immediately understood by your audience, then you have technically uttered a word, even though it might not be one that anybody has ever said before. Take, for example, the sentence, I was walking down the street today and I saw this guy and he was just... At the end of that sentence, I made a sound that technically you wouldn't find in any dictionary. And yet each and every one of you know that it's the sound that you associate with people like David Bowie or someone like that. It's the noise that means, oh my goodness, please come into my life. And thus, it is a word. This then should extend to the non-standard usage of grammar rules, to create words such as giantess, guesstimate, embiggen, a lot, spelled A-L-O-T with no space, and things like catched, used not only by most 6-year-olds to be the past tense of catch, but also by Burns, that's Robert, not George. That's not to say that all noises are words, no. If you say something that has no meaning whatsoever, for example, fnugdugger, then that's not a word. I gave you no context. You have no idea what I just attempted to convey. I have no idea what I just attempted to convey, and I said it. The meaning that is carried away is what is important here. This then, however, leads me to question something. What if I come up with the word bollard, to me defined as one who rants incessantly about animal fats? If I don't share this definition with any of you, and I use it, is it really a word? It has meaning to me, sure, but I'm trying to convey meaning to you, and because you don't understand it, is it a word? What then about some of the more esoteric noises that are considered words in existence? Let's take, for example, the word philately. Let's say that we've taken all of the stamp collectors and people who know what philately actually means and put them on a boat and send them somewhere else. Then I gather the remaining people in a room and have them talking. One person utters the noise philately, but doesn't know what it means. And, given what I previously said, nobody else knows what it means either. It has no meaning to these people. Thus, is that noise still in this context a word? Is something with definition still a word if it conveys no meaning in the context it's used in? And this brings me to what triggered this rant in the first place. The word irony. Irony is incredibly misused as a word. Except, if you think about it, perhaps it's not. Just because people aren't using the dictionary definition of it doesn't mean that they're not conveying some meaning. But what if two people take different meanings? Which meaning is correct? And irony can mean so many things. It can be used as a less scathing version of sarcasm. It can be used as a dramatic or fate device. For example, a man who spent his life swimming the English Channel, drowning in his fish pond. It can be used to describe unfortunate circumstances. It can be used to describe tragic circumstances. It can be used to describe circumstances that have absolutely no bearing on things one way or the other. It can be used to describe the completely unexpected. It can be used to describe the completely expected. It can be used to describe, from what I have seen online and in person, pretty much anything. And thus, because the number of things that could be meant by the noise, irony or ironic, is so great, does it really have any meaning at all? How can you be sure what your audience is going to take away from that word? How can you be sure what the person talking to you is attempting to convey? Soon, there are a veritable swarm of possibilities flying through the air. Do they mean that it's completely unrelated to the situation? Do they mean that it's not what they expected? You can't be sure. Irony has no meaning. Irony isn't a word. And then suddenly you realise, what if the sounds that you're conveying to somebody and the sounds that they're hearing have two completely different meanings? What if the world is in some kind of mini aphasia bubble, and the way that you hear and interpret a sound isn't the same way that everybody else hears and interprets it? What if nothing technically has any meaning? What if I've just forgotten how words work, and all I can hear is a series of sounds that have no structure or flow or rhythm or fluid dynamics? Or what if I just broke the English language for myself? What if I need to go sit down now? You think about it, to everybody, and yet are still considered words. Things, words such as ordinary differential equation, or that's three words stuck together, don't use that. To do one's nana, to lose one's temper, off one's nana, mentally unhinged, especially temporarily. Words. What are words? What makes one thing more word-like, and one thing less word-like? I look like a Target employee. My fridge just started making noises. My fridge is trying to use words. Words like ordinary, fuck you.